Sitbon is joining me here on set from our International Affairs Desk. Shirli, a delicate balance in talks between world leaders and this rebel group.
Yes, we call this in France a diplomatic ballet, and it has started. Contacts have been made. But as I was looking at images from Syria in the past few hours and from last night, well, one image was striking was when the UN envoy to Syria arrived in Damascus, a Syrian lady saw him and wanted to express her feelings, anger, a lot of anger, saying, "It's now that you're arriving to our country. We've been suffering for years. It's too late." And she threw her shoe at the convoy, saying, "Get out of here." And yes, really, we can see that anger. But of course, the UN trying to bring hoping to help bring some stability and to try and help the Syrians get out of this terrible situation. Now, we've been talking about this change of approach towards Syria with the new authorities in place, the rebels, which some of them, HTS, this group, well, it's still on the list of the terror groups by the UN. It was a UN resolution voted unanimously by the UN Security Council, 20-54. And well, this means several things, various sanctions, which all member states have to apply, asset freeze, travel bans, arms embargo. And the questions now are, can all the countries interact with the new authorities now? And when could the status of a terror organization can be lifted? Can it? Will it? So all these questions now being raised with, yes, these decisions. Of course, the HTS wants this to happen as soon as possible.
The rebels hoping to get some of the sanctions against them lifted, as you're saying, but hearing from the EU for their part that they need actions and not just words.
Exactly. And some people say it's a bit too early, but the UN says it's still possible to move the lines, to shift the lines, because there are humanitarian emergencies in Syria. So maybe sometimes there's a possibility of being more flexible with funds to help certain areas. But of course, all of the people in place have been saying, yes, there's a need for the authorities in power to show they are indeed, they act the way they say they will act, being inclusive. And indeed, their leader, Ahmed El-Shara now, which we used to know as Jolani, the man from the Golan Heights, well, he repeated again, there's a need for unity, a multi-ethnic, multi-confessional country. He called on all of Syrians to come together. And well, now they're hoping, of course, that the Europeans are saying also we need not only all minorities, but also women to have a role, and all religions, all minorities to be respected. And we can see maybe the list of religions, because in Syria there are various minorities, and some were preoccupied by the arrival of these groups. And this is a country where there are several minorities. Of course, the 75% are Sunnis, but there are also Christians in the country, about 10% until the war. Now their numbers have probably changed. We don't know the exact numbers, but everyone is calling for them to be respected. For several years, the HTS has tried to show that it's being tolerant, although, of course, it's not the same as a completely free and fair society for all minorities. Now it says it will be, it's promising, and everybody who wants to work with them is trying to see if it's going to be true or not.
What about countries immediately surrounding Syria? I mean, how have they dealt in the past and now with the rebels in charge?
Well, various situations. We've seen the case of Turkey, which was active, and many people are saying, including Donald Trump yesterday, that what is happening, he said yesterday that he thinks Turkey, quote, is very smart, and it did an unfriendly takeover of in Syria, basically pushing the rebels to push out Bachar al-Assad, and all this to try and weaken the Kurdish groups in Syria. That's according to Donald Trump, and according to many people, basically the strategy of the Turks, who are reopening their embassy and offering the rebels military cooperation. Qatar is also reopening its embassy after 13 years of it being closed. And, well, Israel, we'll see what its position will be. We've seen it destroying weapons arsenals and moving into this buffer zone, which is on the Syrian side of the border. And now the rebel group saying you really need to get out of this area and out of all of the Syrian territory. We can understand from this that they want them to leave the Golan Heights. The Israelis are saying, no, we're not leaving this area.
Okay, we shall see how it develops. Shirli Sitbon from our International Affairs Desk. Thanks.